Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam, and in this video I'm going to start a project of redoing this bed that's right in front of my house right here. A lot of the other projects I have going on in my yard, I'm planting one over here and one over there and one over there, and nothing is really coalescing to come together into any finished product. So I wanted to kind of shoot a little quick series of videos where I start with basically nothing and go through the process of defining the bed, picking out the plants for it, putting them in, and talking about how I'm going to also have annuals in this bed and how I'll treat that soil a little differently. For those, I'm going to put some bulbs in here. I've had my tulip bulbs in the refrigerator forever, and as soon as I put them in, they're going to start coming up. I'm going to put some of them into this bed. In this video, I'm basically going to get this space cleaned up and show you how to edge it. If this wasn't a bed already, I'll go through if you're going to have grass in the space, how you're going to get rid of it, that kind of thing. And I'll show you how I just go about defining them initially. I need to re-edge this bed. It's kind of even with my grass at this point. The reason that I edge is because it looks fantastic when your mulch has a place just to fall into up against your grass and you have a really defined edge. A lot of times you can really go out and create nice defined edged beds and then mulch them. You don't have to do a whole lot else. You don't have to put in a whole lot of plants at that point. Just having those nice crisp edges and fresh mulch a lot of times can really change the entire look of a property. This bed has been here for over 20 years. I put this tree in, this willow oak. It was 3 feet tall. It was smaller than a dime around at the base. And now it's, I don't know, a 30 or 40 foot tree. So here's what happened with this space. I have these 5 dwarf Yaupon hollies right here, which I butchered in another video about pruning shrubs. They'll come back out really nicely. On the other side over there in the sunny space, I had salvias and black-eyed Susans and all these full sun perennials. It's been a perennial border since day one when I moved in this house. It's been beautiful. Always have hummingbirds out here, always have bees out here. Just a great spot. This tree will no longer allow me to grow those full sun perennials. So this is a transition space. You're gonna get this in a house. If you plant trees, know that when you plant the trees, you're planting full sun stuff, and then over the course of 15 or 20 years, you're probably gonna have to convert it to some other material, and that's what I'm in the process of doing here. So that's really the reason that I'm having to redo this entirely. But like I say, in today's video, I want to talk about how I just go about defining it. There's a lot of leaves that have piled up in this edge right here. I'm going to take some of those out. It's too many. And that way when I mulch, I don't end up really burying these hollies by accident. So let's just assume for a second that this is just all turf. And I just have this tree here, and I want to turn all this space into a bed. Initially, what I'll do, I laid a water hose along this line. That's a very good tool for laying out basic shapes on the ground before you get started edging. If you have a lot of edging to do, a lot of trench edging to do, trench edging is just me cutting down along the grass, straight down, and then taking that soil and throwing it in toward the bed. So I create a little bit of an angle for the mulch just to lie in up against my turf right there. That's trench edging. You can actually rent a trench edger from any rental place if you have a lot of it to do. It's a machine that'll just cut a little perfect trench. You just drag it around your yard. It's a little bit violent as it cuts the soil up, but it's pretty easy to use. For the most part, I've always done these things by hand. I used to own a trench edger when I was landscaping, but a lot of times I just do it by hand anyway. I'll just lay out a water hose, or you can get the upside down spray paint and just get the line just like you want it. I'm gonna have just a really nice, long flowing curve all the way back around to my front sidewalk there, which I already have. But I encourage you to edge it first, okay? And then you'll have the definition of the bed. If there's grass on the inside of it, you either spraying it with Roundup or some other weed killer, or you have to use some sort of pickaxe, or if it's a lot of grass, you can actually rent a machine called a sod cutter that will actually just cut it up, and you can roll it up and repurpose it somewhere else. If you're dealing with dormant grass like dormant Bermuda or dormant zoysia, weed killer won't work on it, so you really are just kind of stuck taking it out. Or if you wait a few months for it to wake up and it's awake when you spray it, you can kill it. That's the way you have to go about it. You're either using a pickaxe or a shovel and going up under it and getting rid of it, renting a sod cutter, or spraying it. really the only three options. Luckily for me, I did this years ago, and really I'm just gonna kind of go around this thing and recut it in so that when I mulch it at the end of this project, it's gonna look nice and crisp up against my lawn. But again, I'm taking this trenching shovel. You always see me using this trenching shovel. It's only about 4 or 5 inches wide. If I was trying this with a full-size shovel, it'd be really hard to get it down in the soil, especially my clay soil. This little skinny shovel, I can slide it right in along the turf and kick it right out. And I just keep kicking that soil in toward the middle of the bed. So after you had spent some time agonizing about how the curve was going to be and got that cut in, like I say, now would be the time to remove the grass and whatever method you want to try to remove it. You also need to edge along the hard areas like my driveway right here and the sidewalk over there. And I actually have a good technique for that. Take your shovel like this and set it down right up against that concrete, okay? And then turn it slightly sideways, and then I'll pull it toward myself, like this right here. Just like this. Just like that. And then I'll go back in and throw that stuff back away from it. And it gives me a nice trench for that mulch just to fall beautifully right up against the sidewalk, the driveway and the sidewalk, like that. And it doesn't make a mess this way, because I'm throwing it back toward that direction and not onto my driveway. One more time, I'll show you how easy it is for me to edge along this sidewalk right here. Again, I'm putting my shovel right up against it, just like that. And I'm turning it, just angling it just a little bit like that. And then I'm just pulling it along, and it just rolls that soil back up into the bed, just like that. It may take you a little while to get this down, but you see how I just made quick work of cutting this along this sidewalk, and I'll just go back and clean it up like that. And now this is ready for mulch when I get to that point. So now I'm going to get these excess leaves out of here and continue edging around here to connect all this together. I've got a planter over there that actually used to be a fountain. I'm going to remove that, get that out of here, and then I think we'll be ready. If at that point we'll have cut this thing in. You would have had a lot more work to do than me if you were creating a new bed, obviously by removing the grass or killing the grass, or that kind of thing. And if you did kill the grass with Roundup, by the way, you'd need to wait 2 or 3 weeks before you start planting. So if it's something you want to get on, and if you're going to use a chemical control, do it sooner than later so that we can get started planting, or you can get started planting as soon as possible. And that's going to be it for this video. I'll walk around real quick and show you how this edge looks around it. You lay it out like you want it, you cut it in, you spray it, or you get rid of the grass, and you're on your way. The next video, I'm going to show you how to prep for the annuals over there, and I'm going to be putting the tulip bulbs I have into that space. The video after that, I'll pick the shrubs and put the shrubs into this space that will take part sun, because that's what I've got here now when this tree leaves out every year. And then on the next video after that, I'm going to put the perennials in, the things that go to sleep in the winter and wake back up. Some things I can plant in the dead of winter, or I'm comfortable with, or have enough experience. I'll kind of tell you the ones you can plant dormant. Some other things I'll wait for them to wake up a little later in the spring, and I'm just going to save spots for those things to go into. So anyway, here we go. Getting rid of the leaves, finish edging, and just generally clean up. And I'll show it to you after I finish those things up. So here's a quick walk around. You can see right here how defined this edge along this sidewalk is, and then going up here where I cut it with the trenching shovel. I've got some weeds in here. I know that. I'm going to till that in on the next video for the bulb planting video, but you can see how well defined this is. And if there's a spot where I don't really like the angle, like maybe right in there, I can go chop a little bit more right in this area right here just to smooth that curve out just a little bit more. But you can see it goes right up to my driveway, just in a really, really nice smooth angle. So you can see how well this is cut in, you know, along my driveway and over here. Excuse my shadow here. But this upper part's going to be shrubs. I'm going to leave these dwarf Yopon hollies, which look absolutely horrible right now because I butchered them late in the season. Annuals over there, and perennials on the other side of these dwarf Yopon hollies here, things that go to sleep in the winter and come back, and they have to be shade selections now. So anyway, I hope this was helpful in how I go about defining a bed space. Obviously yours may be much harder than this. If this was turf right here, I would be still chopping away at it, trying to get it out of there if that's the way I was going to approach it. If it's green grass, you can chemically remove it. If it was dormant grass of some kind, I'd definitely be in here chipping away at it because it'll definitely come up in my new mulched bed. But so the next few videos will all be related to this space. Going to get the shrubs in, going to get the annuals in, going to get the perennials in, and then we're going to mulch it, and this should look really nice and crispy. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for additional videos.